Hi, hello, and welcome back to my channel and to the second episode of Training Chit Chats. I technically recorded this yesterday, but when I edited it, I realized I didn't really like it anymore. So I'm going to try to record it again and keep my thoughts more clear, because today I'm going to talk about the medieval area and arena that we have gotten to updates on now. Because I feel like there are a lot of thoughts about it in the community, and I also have thoughts. Duh, otherwise I wouldn't be here. I'm in a bit of a hurry. I technically didn't think I would have time to record today, so I'm just trying to quickly record this and hopefully edit it in the upcoming days. But I feel like there have been a lot of thoughts about this in the community, and understandably so, considering that I feel like their communication with us going in to this wasn't the clearest. I had the fortune of knowing that this was a permanent thing before it was released, because I follow one of the game designers, or I'm subscribed to one of the game designers who work at Star Stable, her YouTube channel where she live streams, and she was like, "What do you mean it's the new event? But I understand it's supposed to be permanent and such." But I feel like their communication has been very unclear on this, and I feel like that's where a lot of anger in community comes from. But I also feel I'm gonna try and touch on that, but I primarily just want to talk about the actual medieval event, because I think there's a lot of potential here, but I also feel like there's a lot of things they could have done and that I wish they've done that they didn't. Because as you can tell, like, there's been a lot of love put into this by the people who worked on it. Obviously, there's all of the details for is the first thing. An environment designer or an environment artist, it depends a bit on the company if they have environment artists or like level artists or level designers, or level artists or environment artists or environment designers, and if they are more of a game designer or if they're more of an artist. And I think they're more of an artist, what I understood at Star Stable, but don't quote me on that. I don't know how their company works. That what I've gathered from their blog posts that everybody can read, and I could have just interpreted things wrong. But also, like, like, there's a whole new UI here, and there's a whole new UI here, and a whole new system. And this I've started working on my reputation with the Yellow Wolves instead, and now that I'm max reputation with the Blue Oaks. And I'm sorry, wait, I haven't put my glasses on. Give me one moment. My glasses are on now, so now I won't have a headache. And obviously there's a whole new system here with jousting that like checks that if you hit these things, and it's probably not perfect. I feel like a lot of I'm assuming, I don't know if it works with a sensor, if it works with the in-game physics system. If it works with the in-game physics system, then I would understand why. Like, we have sometimes it really looks like you hit it, but then you didn't. So I guess like there are some kinks that could be worked out in it, but it's not something that haven't ruined playing this for me. So yeah, you can tell there's been a lot of love put into this, but at the same time, I feel like there could have been more, and it felt like it should have had more based on the marketing, based on how they've treated this in social media. And I know this isn't the first time that Star Stable has said something on socials that that make it sound like we're getting something bigger than we are. I feel like they've done this with other things throughout this year and during the summer, and like I'm a Swedish person and Starship is a Swedish company, so I kind of understand the whole thing. All companies shut down for 2 months during the summer. That's kind of our culture. Obviously, Starship doesn't do a full shutdown. That's mostly like industry, like factories that does. They usually have like no one's working for 2 months, and that's when everybody have vacation. That's a very common thing here, and I don't know how it looks in other countries. So I understand like updates are small during the summer. That's not what I'm upset about. I'm upset about how sometimes they've made things sound like a huge deal and then it isn't, and then they continue doing it. And I feel like we've told them like, hey, we thought it was going to be bigger based on how you treated it, and then it isn't. So I really like everything here is so cute. Like they put together all the details. I feel like we could have had another NPC that isn't Bonnie, because since this is permanent, and I'm not upset about it being permanent, I feel like we need more permanent content in the game. I just feel like we need something bigger than this as well. But now we have like Bonnie permanently in 2 places. I don't know. I don't know exactly what I feel about that. I'm not super upset, but I also like its contingency issues and stuff. And the same thing with like it being here at Forgotten Fields instead of, some people suggested Marching Guest Castle, but from my understanding that doesn't entirely physically exist within the game. Like you can see it, it has a mesh, but I don't think it has like colliders, which a mesh is a 3D model, is what you call a 3D model in game dev, and so everything like you can see has a 3D model. But if I can walk through something, it doesn't have a collider, and like this ground has a collider because I can walk on it, and like I also have a collider, so they are colliding, so I'm not falling through the ground. And same thing, like if I go up here, I crash because it has a collider. But if we find like I'm hoping this bush does not have a collider. It's just a 3D mesh, technically a 3D mesh made out of a bunch of 2D meshes. It's kind of how they made bushes in this game. But yeah, like this tree, that's a 3D mesh, but I can walk through it because it doesn't have a collider. I don't even know where I lost my train of thought when I was explaining this. I don't know why I was talking about this. But there's a lot of cool things here, and like I really like a lot of the clothes we got, like especially this new shirt. I don't have the space to buy it, but it's super cute. It's an entirely new mesh, and I would have liked to see this in more colors. Like I would have liked to see in a red and a yellow and a black and a green and every color. And same with the crown. I have it here. I don't know why I have that there. And I love it. Like I want to be silly with it. I wanna. I'm gonna call my club to a meeting because I'm a club owner, and I'm gonna sit in my big chair. And I'm gonna wear my crown. I can't hit the table with my hammer anymore. It's bugged. Rest in peace, hammer. But yeah, like the same with the hair. Like this is also new mesh. This is a new 3D model. So obviously, other than just making the color variants, they also made the new model. So there's been a lot of details and stuff. And I also understand we're getting like a bigger update next week. But I feel like we could have gotten more things here. Maybe we should actually continue with the training. And we have the horses, and I feel like a lot of the things, I feel like they should have been better with us with communicating, and I felt that this entire year. I'm glad that they are posting more on their socials, because we have had so long where, like, we had a couple of years where it felt like they were just doing the bare minimum on their socials, and I guess they have at least done a step up from that now, but I feel like it is clear from how they can answer comments with more information that they continuously know more than what they're telling us. And obviously they can't tell us everything like pre-release. That's like they want things to be surprises. But if we weren't supposed to ever know pre-release, they wouldn't have been able to tell us by answering comments either. So that's obviously not the case. I feel like they need to be better at clearly communicating with us, and then they could do all these like skits on top of that if they had time and felt like it. But I feel like their official channels, which their Instagram is, and where posts I feel like are more official, like than what they write or answer in a comment. Obviously, what they say in a comment is still like an official source, but it isn't where I should go to find things out. I should have found it out from the post and from the news articles myself first. So while they have gone better last year, obviously we have, or the last few years, like they have gotten the blog posts, and I'm very happy about that. And we also have gotten the roadmaps, and I feel like those are great because obviously like 5 years ago we might not even know what's in the next update unless they had like told us, because we didn't even always get like the thing at the end of the news. It's like next week you're getting this and this and this. We didn't even always get that. I feel like so like in some things their communication have become clearer, but there's also parts where I feel like they're less clear. Like I get less information from the news, especially as someone who reads most often reads the translated version of the news. Everything in Star Stable is today written in English during news and everything, and then if you read another language it is translated. So I read it in Swedish mostly because my PC is set to Swedish, so I will usually just, like if I open Star Stable website I will automatically end up on the Swedish version. And sometimes I do read the English news because they usually tell me more. For example, it was the English news was the only one when the medieval event was released that said that it was a permanent addition to the game. The Swedish version of the translated news didn't, and what I've heard from other people who also read translated versions of the news, theirs didn't either, but I can neither confirm nor deny as I don't speak those languages. So I think they just need to, I guess, clean up their act. Sounds a bit rude, but they need to get better at communicating with us again. I really miss how clear, like, information we could get from them maybe like 6 years ago. I remember we could get a lot more like clear information and know what to expect from them. It wasn't all this guessing, and they could still do like fun like memes and stuff every now and then and again, and I wouldn't be opposed to them doing it as much as they do now either if we just got better base communication about what we're getting. Because I felt like they made it out to be a huge big thing, and I would have loved to see it. Like if we just ignore the fact that it's on Forgotten Fields instead of somewhere, like I would have liked to see it by Jarlheim, as that is a medieval city, canonically. And obviously we have like the paddock props that I think look amazing. I know that the designer who made those, she posted on her Instagram and was like, this was the only part of the project I worked on, and I thought they was supposed to be a minor thing and it wasn't supposed to be like the big thing of one whole update. And so I hope you enjoy it, and I'm sorry they had to carry such a heavy weight or something like that, she said on like her stories. So like they look amazing, and I am upset that we didn't get more. I'm not upset at her because I think like the thing she did was a good job, but I feel like Star Stable as a whole needs to give us more. And I don't want to sound greedy, but yeah, like we haven't gotten a lot of new playable content this year. Most of the times we've gotten playable content, it's been through events, and while events, like they recycle a lot of content every year, right? And that's how events have always worked in this game. And I'm not upset about that. It's more that means that the most of the things we got that are playable are new things. They aren't progressing the story. Obviously, there have been main story quests. I'm not caught up on the main story, but I would love to see. I miss a lot of like the quirky, fun things that you find in the early stories of the game. I think the last time we got something that was like quirky and funny in that sense was Marley's Memorial, which that was at least before the updated character. I feel like it's been like 3 years, maybe even more since we got that. I mean, I just missed something that I'm not thinking about. But I would love to see more playable content that's permanent, so I'm not upset about this being permanent, but I feel like we didn't actually get that much playable content. We got the jousting, and while that is a new cool system, it doesn't add a lot of gameplay. Like, you do it once a day. Sure, I do the training a couple times to make sure I got it right, and then I jump into the actual trial. But then, oh wait, sorry, my voice. Let's see, no, my voice is still, can you tell I recently woke up and I'm in a hurry to record this. But but it doesn't take that long to play the jousting. And then the rest is for roleplay, and I'm not super upset about it. I'm upset about the fact that they didn't try to make more, and that kind of sounds rude, I don't know. But because I know they marketed in the trailer, it says like, let the role-playing commence, it is what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a role-playing area. But then they hyped it up so much that I feel like that kind of got overshadowed and forgotten, and they were trying to be like, this is a role-playing area, and there's so much more, but there isn't so much more. That is the only like actual playable content. I would have loved to see a reputation faction. I know they have problems with reputation. That's also something I've heard being discussed. That like newer players and younger players, they don't understand reputation. That they've gotten a lot of like emails, like, or bug reports about like, there's a bug, I can't progress in the game, and this is this level, I've done everything, I still can't unlock this area, or I can't do these quests or whatever. I've seen people do these quests, I can't unlock them, yada yada yada, and it's because people don't understand how the reputation system work. Apparently, allegedly. I would like to see them, like, as they're already redoing the beginning of the game, I think they should just like redo the entire onboarding process for reputation. Like, put people through a tutorial, because the reputation is a very important mechanic if you want to have longevity to your gameplay, things that takes us time to do. I feel like we would have needed reputation here, because it takes just 1 week to be done with the jousting, and some people think that's the perfect length. I personally would have preferred it to be longer, because I like to have things to do for a while. But I also get that they want to try to do something else. I would like to see the reputation. I would have loved to see more NPCs, other than Big Bonnie and Sancho. I would love to see like NPCs for the different houses that I could interact with, that had like story. That I would have loved to have every house have like a head of house, or like a head knight or something, like a knight commander, that like if you pledged to a house you could do dailies with them, or maybe you could do dailies with everyone. And I would have loved to see this, even though it would have been a bit complex. I would have loved to see, depending on which house you pledged to, that NPCs would interact with you differently. Like, their dialogue options would be different when talking to you. So the ones in your house, like maybe the like different houses would have different personalities, how they treated like aspirants, which we were when we started. But then they would have like maybe warmed up towards you the better your reputation got, and then also like maybe have friendly rivalries between the houses, where like I'm part of the House of Blue Ox. I'm currently Yellow Wolves because I'm building reputation with every house. But like my house I actually chose was House of the Blue Oaks, and let's say that House of Blue Oaks and maybe the Yellow Wolves have a bit of a friendly rivalry. So if I went to interact with, like, do dailies with House of the Yellow Wolves, maybe they would like joke with me about, oh, you're one of those like scaredy oaks that don't dare fighting because the Yellow Wolves likes fighting and the Blue Oaks don't. That would have been very interesting to see. Obviously, that's like more complex than any other NPC interactions we have in this game, but I would have loved to see it where like my choice matters. Even if I can change my house, I would have loved to have that where it matters more than what color lands I get. And obviously, since I can change, obviously they would like I could choose who was like more friendly towards me, and I don't want anyone to be like downright mean in this situation. I feel like that would be off-brand, but I feel like they could at the very least, I feel like they could have had these friendly rivalries. That I feel like I was at a medieval market this summer with my family, and we went to a tournament where they had jousting, and there were like two different teams of knights competing against each other, and they did friendly taunts and stuff, but they were very clearly like friends with each other. Where one of the knights of so like depending on which bleacher you were sitting on, like that was like the team you were rooting for, and there was like little like skits with like actors and stuff and like role playing. It was very fun. But one of the knights on the opposing side to the team I was rooting for, she had gotten married the day before at the arena. Like she had gotten married there, and they was actually because our team won, but then like there's one knight that's like voted as the winner of the knights of the team as well, like the one who did the most work, and he gets like he the one who won on like was voted the one like who deserved it the most or whatever. When he was supposed to like ride this lap of like honor, he was like, well, no, I need her like from the opposing team, the team that lost, and she should ride with me because like she got married yesterday, like give her an applause, whatever. Like it so obviously like they had this whole like rivalry that was obviously acted like the entire night, but then still they were night, no pun intended, but then they were still very much friendly. I feel like that could have been like the dynamics between these different houses. Like they were like we're all friends, but we're pretending to not be because we have pledged to different houses, and it could have been really fun. And then like how they would react to you differently based on your house. And you could have done things like help like clean up at the fairgrounds, and maybe like help like make lances in. I would love to see other types of jousting as well, and that probably would have been a lot harder to develop. But obviously, like there's one of the things like this where like you hit the shields is just one form of jousting. They have other ones where you pick up like want to like collect rings on your lance, and like the smaller ring, the more the points. And they also have like where you're supposed to like with a sword pick something up from the ground as you like gallop past it. And then the one that I think, other than the shield thing, I think is what a lot of people think about with jousting, is where two knights they ride like towards each other and they want to hit their lance on the other person's shield, and the person who hit the other person's shield first is the winner. And the lances you use when you do that are designed to break so that no one gets hurt. So when you hit the shield, the lance breaks. So like you would obviously have to make new lances. That could be a daily, or you could polish equipment and take care of the horses and the pasture. There are things you could have done, and I would have loved to see that. And then obviously with the reputation, you need to build towards a goal. I feel like that's what we're missing. We're missing gameplay that takes time to play through. And then you also need to have rewards. I feel like we shouldn't just have gotten all the clothes immediately. Someone made a very valid point on Instagram. I cannot remember their name right now. I read this last night, very tired. So I cannot remember their name, but if I can remember it in editing, I will put it on screen. That said that a game is about more than buying things. Duh, as a game designer, I could tell you that, but sometimes it's easy to forget, I feel like. Or it's not easy to forget, but you don't consciously think about it. And like, I understand them wanting to sell things, because that's obviously how they make money. Oh, sorry, my voice again. I'm so sorry. I should have waited, but I can't because I have places to be today. So it's record now or never. And yeah, I feel like it was definitely missed opportunities, but we should have. They need to sell us these things to, like, obviously, like, us buying star coins on Star Rider, and primarily star coins, is what keeps the company going. Like, they need to make money. That is the reality of the world. Like, and I can tell you, as being someone who's, like, being a game developer, who's currently lucky enough to be a student, meaning that I get money for just going to school, or well, I get loans for going to school. That when the games I've made, that I worked on, very few of those are, like, publicly available, but at least one of them are. I can't remember the second one on top of my head. I don't have to sell those for money. I don't need that to be my income. I have other things to be my income, and obviously, like, my student games I made in classes, they're not very complete. So, like, I don't feel like I could sell them either for money. But once you're out in the industry, the current dilemma is I love video games and I want everyone to be able to play these video games, but I am also here because I need to make a living. So as a dev, I can tell you that the individual devs working at Star Stable, they are probably there like, well, I don't want this to cost money, but I need a job, and for me to have a job that pays me, we need to make money. It is a big dilemma for us game devs, because we're just like you. It's like, oh, I don't have enough money. I don't want to spend my money. But we're also like, if people don't spend their money, I don't have a job. It is an industry, and some games are more blatant with, like, how they try to get your money than others, and that's not what this way is supposed to be. But we also need to work towards something. So I feel like we should have had reputation and unlock through reputation, like, being able to buy the different houses, armors, and maybe you would need, like, and maybe then we could have had, like, the dresses and stuff and have them be, like, for different houses as well. So, like, there's, like, the princess of each house or something, or the lady of each house, and like, having these, like, fancy clothes as well. And that you would have to unlock them through reputation, because at least that's something to work towards, right? And then maybe, like, unlock quests and learn more about the house, and then get knighted that way, because I think this was very quick. It doesn't give us a lot of gameplay. It's already 1 p.m. and I don't have a lot more time, but I'm gonna try to talk about some other things. But I've already talked, like, I wish there had been more NPCs that we could interact with, and that had, like, fleshed out more of a story. At least more, like, a believable universe. I'm sorry, I should have muted my mic before I did that. I apologize. I also, like I said, I would have liked to see this outside of Valheim. A lot of people said the Marching As Castle here in Golden Hills. You can see it up there. It's up there. You can see it a little bit. What I understand, that doesn't fully physically exist. I don't know. That's what's been told to me, and I don't know if that's true or false. I think it's, like, partially physically exist. Like you can walk on it. I think people have like climbed and glitched their way there. I don't watch when people do that because I'm not interested in spoilers. Don't judge people who are interested in spoilers, but I'm not. So I don't know, but I feel like these are like it doesn't fully exist up there. So sure, I guess they couldn't technically wise put it there, but I feel like someone else said like Silverglade by Silverglade Castle, and that would also have been a great place. Like there's this little like grass thing like beside the castle, between the castle and the circus. Like they could have just expanded that, made that a little bit longer, put the fair there right by the castle. I hadn't even thought about that. That's amazing. I had thought about Jarlaheim, because Jarlaheim is canonically a medieval city. It has the medieval wall. It's also Jon Jarl's capital, and Jon Jarl. I'm not 100% sure about the lore of game anymore because obviously it's changed a bit since I started playing. So I'm not always like 100% sure if what I'm talking about is still canon. But Jon Jarl, obviously when he came to Jorvik, Jarlaheim is where like he had his capital, and it is a medieval city. Jon Jarl, I also believe, is inspired by like a Swedish Viking, either like a Viking of like myth and legend or one that was actually real. I cannot remember. Can also remember his name, but pretty sure it was inspired by a real Jarl, at least his name, from the like 1200s. And I feel like we could have had it by Jarlheim. We could have all these like knightly, like virtuous like things. We could have also had Vikings. That would have been so cool, and have it by Jarlheim because obviously Jon Jarl was a Viking, and Vikings. I don't know how much they are associated with the medieval like times and Dark Age. But like when the early like medieval times, when it was like medieval era in like Southern Europe, we had like the Viking era up here, and then we got the more traditional medieval with knights and such. We got that later. Up here in the north, we were later with pretty much everything. So I think that could have also been really cool, and then we could have gotten like more ties to like the story and Jon Jarl. And I know I feel like they kind of want to move away a bit from Jon Jarl sometimes. Like he's not always painted as a hero anymore, and I think that's great. I love complex characters where it's like he was actually kind of a bad guy when he came here, and then he realized his mistakes. And like the history books, because history is always painted by the winners, but like the people that came after him has painted him as this amazing hero, and then it turns out that like he did a lot of wrong things, and then he tried like obviously by the end of his life he was, you know, like a member of the Keepers of Aideen, but obviously like that's not where he started off, and he's actually done things that like probably like damaged his island with like the runestones and stuff. But I feel like getting more like the average person view of Jon Jarl could have been interesting, because obviously what we learn as a soul rider goes a lot deeper than what the average person on this island would know. They like some people are aware about the magic and some people are not, and I think that could have been interesting, and seeing like the Viking things and Jon things. I would have liked that personally, and I feel like it's a bit of a missed opportunity. But obviously, like it is where it is today, and that will not change. I don't see that ever changing. But yeah, it is permanent. I wish to see them, since it is permanent. I'm not stressed about like having my full closet, which is why I only bought the crown. But I also like people have full closets and they are aware of this, and what I've heard that they are still planning to upgrade the closet in this year. I have sadly been told that it won't be next week. I am mourning all the clothes I'm going to have to sell to buy the Halloween things, I guess. but yeah, I think we need more permanent content in this game. I know a lot of people like events, me included. They bring a lot of people to the game, but we also, if you look at the like amount of updates we get in a year and how much of those are connected to just purely events, it's a lot. And while I like the events, I want like more gameplay that is like not event related too, and that I could do like all year round. Even if like when I feel like it, and for that to be introduced to keep the game alive. I don't think Star Stable is dying, and that's a whole other topic. I think it's just stagnated. Actually, no. Where it is right now, it's kind of stagnated, and like that's. I think they really want to update things in the game, and that's great. But we need new content. We need a new area, and not just like they did now with adding the medieval arena to the Forgotten Fields, or I guess this was more new, but it didn't add anything to old players. And I kind of see this in addition to Moorland with the Jorvik riding camp, is it called, right? So yeah. I just feel like this was supposed to be a smaller thing, but they wanted to make it sound big, it seems. And obviously, like, this replaced the birthday as well, like, in production as well. And there's a lot of things that could be said there, too. I personally don't think the birthday had any, like, super exciting gameplay, but it obviously did give me more to do than what the medieval area have done. So while I would love to see them focus a bit less maybe on events, like, I don't want them to remove them and such, but I want them to also give like more focus to permanent things, because I believe this game needs that. That's obviously my personal opinion, but I believe we need more, once again, more permanent things in this game, and I would love to see them continue to add more things, but things that takes longer to play, that isn't just nice to look at. And we so desperately need new areas, and I think we need to tell Star Stable that, and because they have stagnated with just doing updates and things. And obviously we've got a new systems this year that are cool, like the championship ranks. I hope they've done game design, like design improvements to how the system works, with that for the next season that's coming up, probably in October. If you don't know, the ribbons for the next one, if you unlock the ribbons for the last one, you can see the ribbons for the next one currently in game, I think. At least you could a couple of days ago, by going to a championship schedule. The one in Moorland does not work for some reason, but I feel like I think like ones that older champs will work, like ones that haven't been updated. And they make me feel like it's gonna be in October. And I hope they've like improved on the system, because it was a lot of grinding, and obviously for championships you have to be online on specific times. I prefer the trail-based path. That was really fun. I really liked it. I was very worried when they first announced it. They didn't tell us how it was gonna work, they just showed us things, and it looked like a battle pass, and it kind of is, except like I don't have to pay extra for it since I'm already a star rider. I do like that compared to other games I play, where you every month you pay an extra fee of either real money or currency, that like a currency similar to star coins that you primarily get by buying it, but you can get like a little bits of in the game, like in Star Stable you get an allowance. So yeah, like, I do like that work, and I liked how it gave like everything that's already in a game a purpose. But I also know that like some people didn't like it, and that's fine. I liked it, but I feel like we need more like like actual new content and new areas to explore. Because if you're a new player, you won't understand how much that really brought the community together as a whole. When wait, it's 12. I read the time really wrong previously. It's not 1 p.m. It's 12. It's 12:15. Okay, yeah, I'm just stressed. I have a train to catch later, so I can't record as long as I did the previous video. But yeah, I think I talked about most of my thoughts. I feel like they need to sort out their marketing and how much to hype things up, because if you have just seen the YouTube trailer, I think how big this is would have made sense. Like, that made it very clear it's a roleplay thing and it's not gonna be much more. I still think we need more content, but I feel like if we'd only had the YouTube trailer, it wouldn't have seemed as big of a thing than what the, well, mostly reels and stuff on Instagram made it seem. And I'm not the only one who thought this was going to be bigger. And I would have liked to see more things to interact with. And I'm sorry, I have notes because I got so off topic in my last recording, and I also explained things kind of poorly, so it kind of sounded like I said one thing when I meant another. So I made sure to write some notes when I recorded this one so that wouldn't happen again. So I'm sorry if I sound a bit distant sometimes. I'm trying to double check my notes. So yeah, like, it would have made sense to put in other areas, and I would like to see more NPCs to interact with, more story. Obviously, YouTube trailer said this was going to be a roleplay thing. I was expecting it. I wasn't expecting a lot of gameplay. Still would have liked to see it, even if I wasn't expecting it. We need it. So yeah. I hope we give feedback that we need more of these things. We need more new things, more updates that give us permanent content to play, and that they work on more playable things for us next year. That's clearly, like, obviously not been the focus of this year for them, but I hope they realize that having essentially no focus on it at all doesn't work. They need to find a better balance, because we need things to do. And well, this isn't supposed to be like the topic of this video. I'm not the only one who's seen a correlation between us not having things to do in game and there being more drama in chat. And obviously, like, that's also a whole topic, and we need moderators again in this game. And the people who write these things need to be banned. But I've also seen that, and this goes for events as well, like when we have events in game or when we get like new content, there's less drama because people are busy. They don't have time to be saying things they shouldn't be saying in chat. So we still need the moderators, but I don't think the need would be as big, and we need like as many if we also had more content to play. And that could be solved bit with festivals, but with festivals, as I said, it's a lot of recycled content, and then there's gonna be people who grow tired of it. It's not gonna it won't feel as exciting anymore because it's not new. That's how we as human works. That's how our brains work. If you really like it, you're still gonna like it, but like everyone's gonna be more excited when it's new because that's like another level of like happy chemicals in the brain being released. So there is a lot to be said. And I think I probably said more yesterday and I don't remember everything, but I also think I've said everything I can remember right now, and that I have time to say. I might be able to maybe record a shorter little video after this, we'll see. But thank you for being here. Thank you for having watched all the way through and to all of my opinions. Please tell me down below, or if you rather, you can DM me on Instagram or write a comment on one of my Instagram posts and tell me what your thoughts on this event are. Do your opinions look like mine? Do they differ from mine? Do you like that it's permanent? Do you don't like that it's permanent? And what would you have liked to see more of? because obviously I would have liked to see a reputation, but maybe you don't like reputations. Maybe you would have liked to see in a lot of story. I would love to hear that, and if you made it this far, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. I guess I'll talk to you soon. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.